Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. The government is moving to ensure that the recent uproar over an increase in property taxes does not happen again. The finance minister announced in Parliament yesterday that plans are in train for annual increases in land valuations.
The way this was done is almost a case study in how not to do good governance. It was hastily put together and it was imposed by stealth.
The opposition still criticizing the government for how the new property tax regime was handled. Following public outcry, Finance Minister Audley Shaw told Parliament yesterday that the new property tax rates will be reduced to between 0.5 and 0.9%. It's based on new land valuations done in 2013. And since it took so long for that valuation to come into effect, government is being proactive. Changes are coming to the Land Valuation Act.
Mr. Speaker, I should also note that we also tabled a bill in January 2017 to amend the Land Valuation Act to allow for annual increases in land valuations based on an index such as the annual consumer price index in the intervening years between full valuations. We intend to debate this bill shortly.
That change, he says, is long overdue, and there are benefits.
This will reduce significantly the risk of new land valuations resulting in high changes in values in any one year. And in turn, it will provide a more gradual change in property taxes each year for which Jamaican citizens can better plan.
In the meantime, the authorities say more emphasis will be placed on tax compliance. For those who are unable to pay their property taxes, they can apply to the Special Relief Committee. Minister Shaw says that committee will be revamped as the government has no intention of taking away the properties of those who are unable to pay. And even though the property tax rates have been reduced, the opposition says it is still burdensome. Using residents and businesses in the New Kingston area as an example, Opposition Member of Parliament Julian Robinson expressed concerns.
Even after the reduction that the minister has announced, these property owners are going to face increases to the tune of 200% to 300% and upwards. Now, these property owners are not going to absorb these increases because they are primarily businesses and they are going to be passed on to the consumer. However, even accepting that, no business prepares to accommodate an increase of 200–300% in a single year.
He's urging the government to consider residents who live near commercial properties. With concerns about low salaries and compensation packages in the public sector, one government member says work is ongoing on a compensation policy.
It will be instrumental in informing the government's medium-term wage policy, consistent with the legislative wage ceiling. A submission is being prepared to be discussed at Cabinet shortly.
The Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance gave the update yesterday during his sectoral presentation to Parliament. Meanwhile, amidst ongoing public sector wage negotiations for the 2017-2019 contract period, Mr. Spencer commented on the industrial relations climate.
Within the public sector, and the harmony was maintained, at 97%. We envisage that with continued dialogue, the relationship will be maintained at this high level.
Classes have been suspended at Cumberland High in Portmore St. Catherine for a third consecutive day as teachers continue to stage a sit-in. Teachers are refusing to attend classes and in many instances, classrooms have been closed, restricting student access. The teachers are upset about indiscipline among students, which has escalated into physical attacks. A female student attacked the principal on Friday after he attempted to discipline her. But the student and her parents say she was physically abused by the principal. The matter is now the subject of an investigation. Director of Safety and Security in Schools, Assistant Superintendent Coolidge Minto gave an update.
we're doing an investigation into it. I wouldn't be able to provide specifics in terms of what's happening. We are going to be speaking with both parties in terms of the school and the student and their parents.
He adds that CCTV cameras and increased security personnel are among the changes to improve security at the school. In the meantime, the Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA, is interviewing the parents of the female student at Cumberland High. Children's Advocate Diane Gordon-Harrison says the information is being collected. She outlined the role of the OCA in the matter.
That on the face of it indicates that a child has been dealt with in a way that may not conform with best practice. The Office of the Children's Advocate does in fact have a role in probing what exactly happened to determine, what ought to occur in terms of righting the situation. We're not saying or prejudging the matter to say that this is one such case, but as I said, once there's an issue that it appears that there's an issue that involves a child, then the Office of the Children's Advocate has jurisdiction.
Mrs. Gordon-Harrison says the principal will also be interviewed.
Of course, you'd imagine that he is involved in a lot of meetings, as you'd have heard yesterday, as you would have covered yesterday, in fact. And so we usually extend the courtesy of finding a mutually convenient time, and then we take it from there.
Residents of Golden Spring in St. Andrew are in fear following last night's stabbing death of a member of the community. Dead is 56-year-old Utley Nugent. Police report that about 8:40, residents along Stock Farm Road heard cries for help and called the police. Ms. Nugent's body had several stab wounds and was later found. President of the Golden Spring Citizens Association, Derek Simon, says community members will be working with the police. A reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the perpetrator.
I'm calling on the Commissioner to assemble a team of homicide detectives from Lawrence Tavern in the constituency, Stony Hill also in the constituency, and Area 5 at Constant Spring. And in so doing, to launch a manhunt for the killer or killers of Miss Nugent. The residents are not dealing with it well because it is scary in the least. And what the residents are doing is to establish a modus operandi where the killer is caught. I mean, this killer, we are praying that he will turn himself in. But in case he doesn't, then the community will be at him full force. The police is brought up. We are going to make it happen.
Fishermen in Manchester have raised concerns about a ship which they say has disturbed their fishing ground. The fishermen say the vessel, which is looking for oil, destroyed their fishing pots.
We got to see and we find out, so a boat there see, say them look for oil. But which part of them look for the oil and pot set that we set the pot them, so them damage the fish pot them. Nobody inform me, we got the gas station, the fishing officer don't tell me nothing. We go to them this morning, I fishing officer, they must say them don't know nothing about it. Someone know how we get compensation for free pot them. How we get back free pot them? Who responds for free pot them?
The fishermen are also asking the government to help.
I don't go back to casino until tomorrow, so I don't know the losses. It's a big setback. One roll of wire for $22,500. Plus wackle, plus rope to set the pot, lace wire, nail, and overtime. At least. At least. I want 3 roll of wire before I can face back the sea right now. Mash up bad.
They say the impact is likely to extend to other fishermen who operate nearby. The rehabilitation of several water tanks is expected to bring relief to farmers in Rose Hill, Manchester. The farmers have been suffering from a year-long drought, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited stepped in to help. Details from Simone Golding.
Water shortage caused by an ongoing drought has been devastating to farmers in Rose Hill, Manchester. But the farmers say things should improve with the rehabilitation of 5 water tanks in the area. Wigton Wind Farm spent $4.5 million to refurbish the tanks, which collectively can store up to 137,000 gallons of water.
In the last 10 years, drought has become a major concern for our agriculture sector. And while this presents a challenge for farmers across the island, Wigton is helping to provide a solution to our community.
Member of Parliament for Southern Manchester, Michael Stewart, was at the official handing over on the weekend. He noted the impact of the drought on crops and livestock alike.
Our farmers in the Rosedale-Wigton area have suffered long and hard from the drought which they experience every year. As the production goes down, sometimes the animals even die. However, this noteworthy project with these renovated tanks will enhance their production.
It is a privilege for me today, on behalf of the farmers of the Wigton property on which the wind farm is situated, to say a heartfelt thank you, because this rehabilitation of the tanks that has taken place has started to impact the life of the farmers already, because we are using it to the best of our ability.
Simone Golding reporting for TVJ News.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us for Prime Time News at 7. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.